Hi guys, it's Jenny and today we're getting strong knees. I have a yoga block which is optional and a cushion for later on for our knees. For now we're going to start without any equipment with an exercise called heel touchdowns. I'll show you what we're looking for first of all. I'm going to stand on my right leg, hands on my hips, left leg goes out in front, pop the knee forwards until my left heel touches the ground and then stand back up. We're not standing into that left leg, we're sitting our hips back and our knees forward, so it's just a little tap and back up. Second thing we want to look for is the angle of the knee. So we want it to be going straight forwards and straight back rather than in and the hips twisting out, or the other way that the knee is twisting out and the hips are twisting in. So not only are we just doing a nice controlled touch, it's also straight forward, straight back. We're using the knee and the ankle like hinges, basically. So we're going to do a set of 8. Start off in that right leg, nice and tall, hands on the hips. Forwards to tap. 1, 2, trying to keep the heel down. 3, 4, and if a balance is an issue, just hold on to something, a wall, a table, a chair. 7, 8. Because it's more about the movement of the knee rather than the stability today. So, left leg, nice and strong, and do the same again. 1, 2. Even if your balance is okay, but you can feel that you're twisting as you go down, hold on to something, and just use that extra stability to fix the angles until eventually your knee is happy enough to just go straight forwards, straight back. 7, I think, 8. Nice. So you can do that exact same thing again, or if you do have a yoga block or a step, you know, something very low, a couple of books maybe, you can stand on that and it'll make it a little bit harder, therefore a little bit better. But feel free to do it without that step. Let's go. Standing on the right leg, tap the left. 1, 2. So a bit more range of motion for me here. 4, so my knee can go into a little bit more flexion. My hips are loaded a little bit more. Because remember, the knee is going forwards, but the hips are moving back. 7, and 8. Nice. Switch legs. Left leg is now on the block or just on the floor. And same again. Tap. 1. So you may be feeling this in your ankle or your calf, if they're the part of you that's a little bit tighter, because we are pushing into dorsiflexion here. You may feel that loading down the front of the knee, which is more what we're looking for. But if it's not quite in the knee yet, it'll just come with a bit of practice. 7 probably. And 8, just to get that ankle and calf loosened up to allow the knee to do its job. Okay, so that's all we need the yoga block for, so I'm going to just move that out of the way. And now we need our cushion. So we're going to do 2 supersets for the knees. We're going to open the front, the quad, the front of the leg, which often pulls the kneecap if it gets tight. So we're going to open that and then we're going to strengthen it using some split squats. So let's start off in our couch stretch. My left knee is down on my cushion, my left foot is up on my sofa or chair or stool, or even if you don't have anything, you can just pop it on the floor behind you. But because we're focusing on knees today, I'd love to get that deep knee flexion in this couch stretch. So once we're set up, squeezing your bum, lifting your arm, we're going to hold for about 60 seconds. Deep breathing. And normally for couch stretch, we focus a lot on opening this hip, which is not a bad thing. Like, we're not going to avoid that today. You can tuck the hips, squeeze the glutes. But because it's a knee day, try focusing a little bit more on sitting back and getting more knee flexion. So when I'm open like this, the knee isn't flexed or bent very much. And when I'm back like this, the knee is very closed. You know, the angle is quite closed, which is what we're going for today. But you know, still try and feel a little bit in your hip. We're holding it for a minute and we've got about 10 seconds left. So you can do a couple of wiggles, couple of twists, Checking that your hips and back are feeling good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice one. We're going to switch sides. So right leg is now up, left leg is now forwards. Same thing. We are tucking the hips, squeezing the glutes and elevating our chest, but think about pushing back to get a bit more of a quad stretch in this position today. Lifting my right arm just to extend my torso, slight more of an anterior like openness. All the front of me is reaching up and open, not just the leg. Torso is getting jealous. Holding it for about a minute again. So you can start off quite still, just settling into what's going on. And then after a few seconds, you could try giving yourself a little wiggle, sway side to side. What happens if you twist your arms around left and right? Totally optional. You can just stay still if you prefer. Depends just, on your attention span, I suppose. Cool, almost there. Last 10 seconds. Even try pushing yourself forwards and back and see that quad stretch increase. Okie dokes, relaxing. So now we're going to use our elevated surface, whether that's your chair, your step, your small child that you're standing on, and we're going to put our foot onto it and we're going to do some split squats. If you don't have anything that you can put your foot onto safely, you can just do them on the floor like this, but the rest of us with our beautiful platforms are going to lean into a deep split squat like this. So it's the same as a deep split squat that you've always done, but this time we're elevating it. This is number 2, to allow us to get really, really deep into that position. My sofa is also quite squishy, which adds this extra fun element of wobbliness in the ankle. That's the 3. And wobbliness in the knee as well. I really like challenging, combining things to make things more efficient. So I'm combining this deep joint movement and full range of motion with a bit of a stability challenge too. I can feel that my knee is wanting to go all over the place. But think back to those heel touchdowns and we want to get that knee going straight forwards. Hold for a sec, straight back. And you'll start to feel your muscles really needing to work to push you out of that deep range of motion. Were you counting? 9. One more. And 10. Good. If you get deep enough, you also feel a little stretch in that back leg as well. Swap sides. Right leg is now on your sofa, chair, stool, step, and sink down into it. 1. Nice. 2. So similar to the couch stretch, we're trying to fully close the knee, fully flex it. So we're actually fully opening the front of the knee. We're stretching that out, and then we're engaging our muscles. So our quad, as our quad contracts, it pulls our leg straight. And as it extends and relaxes, our knee bends, contracts, relax. So we're really moving through some awesome range of motion here. It's like a stretch at the bottom and strengthen as we push back. Say that's 9. One more. And 10. Great one. We're going to do that again. So back down into your couch stretch. Left side is kneeling. Right side is supporting. Sitting up nice and tall. And extend that left arm if you like. And you can do a couple wiggles. Your leg is a little bit warmer now, our whole body, you get a bit more blood flow after 20-ish lunges. So stretching might feel easier. Alternatively, it might be like your muscle is kind of like, whoa, you're using me in what range of motion? I don't like that. And it could have even tightened itself up. So whether this stretch feels easier or harder second time round, you'd be surprised how normal and common that is. And our job is just to move towards that confident, relaxed body that no matter what we throw at it, at whatever time, it's like, oh yeah, I can do that. Because it's somewhere it's been before. It's not a big surprise. 3, 2, 1, switch sides. So my right leg is now bent, left leg supporting, tucking those hips, a little wiggle. Because our body is just trying to keep us safe most of the time. And if we have avoided a certain position consciously or unconsciously for a long time, like for example that deep knee flexion, and all of a sudden you sort of like move towards it, and it's kind of like, ooh, we haven't been there in a while. Let's, this is really tight. Let's just be painful so that they don't do this again. Basically speaking. So just by practicing these great deep ranges of motion in a safe space, it's just really nice for your body to, you can breathe into it and it can get used to it again. And even if you do a lot of sport, like think about running, you wouldn't actually fully bend your knee when you run. It stays in a kind of medium range of motion. So the knees can get a bit cranky that way because it is missing that deep range. 3, 2, 1. Or completely conversely, if you do a lot of like deep squatting or heavy squatting, maybe that extra load has been slowly forcing you out of what would be an optimal position. So just reminding your body like, oh yeah, we can go straight forwards and backwards. We can use our hip, knee and ankle together. It's really nice to do. So let's deep split squat. Left leg down and up. Nice, slow and controlled. As I mentioned, we are focusing on movement of the knee in a optimally stacked position for power, for depth. So focus on these positions. Am I going straight forwards and straight backwards? Is my hips trying to shift? Is my knee trying to wobble? Is my ankle not bending? Is it all on the knee? Is it all on the hips? Be a little curious about what's going on. You can use your hands if you need, or even just stop and have a little play in the bottom and see what happens when you deliberately move out of a good position. Because those wobbles will happen in life as well. So even though we're trying to focus on being straight, there's nothing wrong with having a wiggle at the bottom and seeing what it does feel like when we might trip or wobble or something goes wrong. Switch sides. Right leg now. Because you don't want the first time your knee flies inwards and your hip flies outwards to be when you slip on ice or something and then you're like, oh God, what's happened? Instead you can be like, oh yeah, practice this with Jenny on the sofa. It's actually fine. 3, 4, I think. You know what, I think they've done more than 4. Now we're just going to run with it. I don't think you could do too many split squats. Your knees might be too strong, I guess. That would be the downside. I hate that. Oh gosh, I've lost count again. 9. Let's go 9. And one more. 10. Cool. Great, so that was our anterior superset, which just means the front. Your anterior side is your front side. All about the quad and that straight knee path. Now we're going to move on to more of a outer or lateral pattern. The outer hips, external rotation, a bit of twisting, something a bit different. So I'm going to sit on my bum in front of my sofa. You could do this against a wall. I'm going to lie on my back. I'm going to use my cushion as a pillow and put my left foot up onto the bottom of it. Now the right ankle crosses over that knee and then opens up in this external rotated position. Sorry, I'm just adjusting your mic. And then you should feel a stretch in your glute. So similarly, as I told you, when your quad is tight, it pulls that kneecap up. And you actually have 4 quad muscles, hence why it's called a quad. And if either one of those is tighter than the other, it can pull your kneecap in a slightly different way or just generally your knee, not all of them are attached onto your kneecap. And the second thing that can tug on the knee is the outer hip, your TFL, which turns into your IT band, just your glutes in general being tight. You can just generally put your knee into a bit of a funny position, put a bit more strain on it than it's used to. So stretching the outer hip is a great thing to do. When I'm laid down here, I can't see my clock, so this is about 60 seconds. We'll do 10 more. It's a really, really nice stretch. You can use your hands to encourage your knee further out. 3, 2, 1, and switch. So my right foot is now stood on my sofa, left ankle over that knee, and opening up the left knee. So what you may find as well is that your body tries to cheat a little, and as you push that knee, your hip kicks out to the side. What I like to do in that instance is move the right foot to the left. So it's as if you're going to be doing like a cross-legged position, but your knee is too far away from your ankle. But your legs are now almost parallel. And it just stops you twisting that little bit if you find that's an issue. But have a little play around, see what works best for you. Just breathe. Any stretch where you're lying down, I think, is a good stretch. 3, 2, 1, nice one. So we're going to pop back up. And as we have just opened up the glutes, we're now going to use the glutes. And we're going to use our knees in these different angles that I kept going on about. So the right leg is facing forwards, nice and straight. And the left leg is going to step to the side behind my leg. Then I pop down, tap my left knee to the floor, pop back up. And we swap feet. So my left foot is now in the middle, my right foot steps behind, tap, and back up. And we'll just swap, alternating. 2, that's 3, 4. So you see that front leg actually has to twist a little. Even though the knee is facing forwards, the thigh bone, the femur, is going in a different direction to shin bones. But that's totally fine. This is something that our knee is able to do as long as the hips are allowing us to do it. You should feel a good stretch in the glutes here. If the hips are super tight and the rotation comes from the knee itself, that's when they can start getting a little cranky. So we open up the hips, then we build strength in those hips so the knee can focus on what knees do, and it's just bend straight forward, straight back, and the hip is doing the rotation of the femur. We're doing 10, like alternating each leg, meaning 20 total. 19, 20, yeah, nailed it. So bring your cushion back for your head if you like. We're going to go back to our outer hip stretch, our glute stretch, figure 4 stretch. One more time, left foot is up, right ankle crosses the knee, and open that up. So you can actively stretch the glute, which means using your own power by not using your hands and just pulling that knee open. Or you can passively push into a little deeper range by using your hands. Either way, deep breaths. Relaxing down into that stretch. If it doesn't feel like you're getting a lot of a stretch, one or two things could be happening. Your hips could be super loose. Great, that's not a problem for you, which is awesome. Or you could just be not deep enough. So scoot yourself closer to your sofa or wall and then go again. And that should be a little deeper with range of motion. If that's still not a stretch, I would conclude your hips are awesome. And maybe stretching your inner thighs would be more beneficial with like a deep lunge rotation, which we're not covering today, but you'll find loads of videos on our YouTube channel. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Switch legs. Right foot's now stad, Left ankle is now crossed. So I've come a bit too close to my left ankle, left glute is a bit tighter than my right. So I just scooch myself back a little. One good way to tell if you've gone a bit too far is that your hips are trying to lift up because they're not rotating anymore. They're trying to extend to get the range of motion. It also can be if you feel it in your knee, because that means that your hip is no longer stretching, your knee is twisting. And we want to stretch your hip. So you can use these cues from your body to work out, am I stretching the right thing? Am I just forcing myself into a position that I'm not quite ready for? Is this beneficial to me? Do I need to pull it back a little bit? Or do I not feel it at all? So I'll go a bit closer, make it a bit harder, push a bit more. Only you can know these things because only you can feel what you can feel. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's make our way back up. And we're going to do some more lunges. So I'm going to count this time, I promise. We're going to do 20 alternating curtsy lunges. So right foot forwards, left foot steps back, tap the knee, 1, and switch. Left foot stays, right foot lunges, 2, 3, moving nice and steady, 4, trying to tap that knee each time, 5, trying to keep the heel down on that front leg and get that big twist of the glute. Should really be feeling it in the hips. If you're not feeling it in the hips and you're only feeling it in the knee, you can try just reducing that range of motion so you're not stepping back as much, like you're not twisting round as much. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, one more, and 20. Nice. So that's all we've got planned today, but feel free to repeat those supersets, or you could do a sneaky extra one, as I was mentioning, on your inner thighs. You could do some deep lunge rotations just to open that up. I hope that your knees feel awesome. We've done the front and the side. We've got loads of good strength in those knees with our various lunges. So have a great day, guys.